I know the feeling when you see a sleek bow mount motor on a product page. Imagine it gliding your boat silently across the lake, and then realize after you hook it up that it either barely moves the boat or is a tangled mess to install. That hesitation is real, especially when you've already spent money on a boat, a cooler, and a whole day's worth of bait. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Minn Kota Ultrex is the company's flagship bow mount trolling motor, and it tries to solve the two biggest complaints anglers have about electric drives: loss of control when you're trying to hold a fish and the hassle of getting the motor down to the waterline. The first thing I looked at was the lift assist design. Unlike the older drop-down style where you have to manually pull the motor down each time you launch, the Ultrex uses a spring-loaded mechanism that lets you lift the motor up and down with a single push of a button. In practice, that means you can launch from a trailer ramp, press the foot pedal, and the motor slides into position without you ever having to wrestle with a heavy shaft. For anyone who fishes early mornings and wants to be on the water within minutes, that convenience is worth a few dollars. Power steering with a foot pedal is another claim that sounds good on paper, but the proof is in how it feels when you're trying to keep a base on a tight structure. The foot pedal gives you forward, reverse and idle control while a small joystick on the handle fine-tunes the direction. I watched a couple of friends who used the Ultrex on a 12-foot base boat. When they were drifting over a weed bed, they could nudge the motor with their foot and keep the boat perfectly stationary while they lowered their lure. The ability to make those micro-adjustments without taking your hand off the rod is a genuine advantage for anglers who need that steady platform. Now, let's talk thrust. The 80-pound rating is the upper limit for freshwater use, which puts it in the same league as many high-end trolling motors. In real-world terms, that amount of thrust can push a 12-foot boat at about 5.5 miles per hour on calm water. If you're planning to chase a school of pike on a windy lake, you'll feel the motor working hard, but it will still maintain enough speed to keep you on the fish. However, the rating also hints at a hidden trade-off. The motor draws around 50 amps at full throttle, which means you need a robust battery system. A standard 12V deep-cycle marine battery will give you roughly 2 hours of run time at cruising speed, but if you spend a lot of time in idle or low-speed trolling, you can stretch that to 3 or 4 hours. For anyone who only has a small 30-amp-hour battery, the Ultrex will drain it quickly, so you either need to upgrade your battery or accept limited fishing time. Spot-lock GPS anchoring is a feature that's often advertised as set it and forget it, but its usefulness depends on how you fish. The motor includes a built-in GPS that remembers a set of coordinates. When you hit the spot-lock button, the motor automatically holds the boat at that spot, compensating for wind and current. In a test on a slow-moving river, the motor kept the boat within a 3-foot radius of the target point for over an hour without any manual input. That's a game-changer for anglers who like to set up a line and then sit back with a cup of coffee. On the flip side, if you fish in a small pond with no current, the spot lock won't add much value, and you might be paying for a feature you never use. Who should consider the Ultrex? If you have a mid-size freshwater boat, anything from a 10-foot John boat up to a 14-foot base boat, and you spend a good portion of your day on the water, the combination of lift assist, foot-controlled steering, and GPS hold makes the motor a solid productivity boost. It also shines for anglers who fish in areas with varying depths. The easy lift-down means you can quickly adjust the motor's position as you move from shallow flats to deeper channels. The motor's 45-inch shaft is a good fit for most freshwater holes, and the bow mount placement keeps the prop away from debris that can snag a transamount. Who should skip it? If you're on a tight budget and already have a decent lower-priced trolling motor that you're happy with, the Ultrex's premium price tag might not be justified. Likewise, if you own a very light kayak or a small inflatable that can't handle the 80-pound thrust without excessive bow rise, you'll be better off with a lighter 30 to 55-pound model. Finally, if you fish exclusively in tiny, protected lakes where GPS anchoring and power steering are overkill, the extra features become unnecessary expenses. In terms of practical weaknesses, the motor's weight, about 45 pounds, is noticeable when you're lifting it onto the boat yourself. While the lift assist helps, you still